Yo, yo, yo. Let's see. Just gonna wait a bit until people actually join in. And then we'll start in a bit. But yeah, how was everyone? What's new? Didn't do a live stream last time because it was Thanksgiving, but for the people based in the US, you guys know how it is. Everyone would be asleep after dinner. But yeah, we have some exciting updates today, and just gonna kind of do a brief overview of it, give some ideas for use cases, and then afterwards, we'll just kind of end it with a Q&A. I don't think today's is going to be too long of a live stream, probably like 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the number of questions and stuff we get. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting setup for sure. So yeah, I'll just give it like a couple more minutes, and then afterwards, we'll just hop right into it. And then always, we're streaming this on multiple platforms, but yeah, definitely send messages, questions, whatever you have. Something comes in your mind, comment, spam it in the chat. I usually look at it and try to address them while we're like either going through some of these demos or showcases, or um, like I just answer it after the fact too. So, but yeah. Welcome, Chris from France. Welcome, Chris. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, I guess Narek from LA here. So yeah, I haven't been to France in a minute. Hello, Austin. How are you? Nothing much. We're just vibing for a bit, and then afterwards we'll hop right into this update. This is actually probably one of my favorite updates. I said that from last time, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. From Florida. Yeah, I'm all the way on the other side of the country. I'm all the way based in Cali. So can't believe I forgot that for a second. But yeah. Also, is my mic okay? Can everyone hear me well? Let's see. Okay, I think everything should be fine. Okay. What mic is that? It's a Shure V7. It's a nice one. Yeah. This is the first thing I got whenever I joined Taskade. Kind of wanted to make it easier for people to kind of hear my lovely voice. Yeah, but I just use it for sales calls, community calls, product demos, pretty much anything. It's yes, sir. Mike, 10 out of 10. Awesome. Okay, perfect. Okay. I think we're just about ready to go. Hey Jay. I look hearing about Taskade updates. You shall. You're in the right place. I'm gonna start at 4:05. And boom, it's 4:05. All right, let's get to it. So there should have been a newsletter that went out, but basically we have a few things in today's updates. So I'm going to open my workspace. Let me actually set up a few more things here. Sorry, guys. Bear with me. Okay. Let's go to share my screen. Window, workspace. You guys all see my screen here. I'm going to move this tab over here. All right. So the first update that we have is if you open up any one of your agents, and actually I'm going to open it from over here. If you make any of these public, so let's say you share it publicly, what you can do is you see this inbox option right here. You can see how people interact with it. So you can see the conversations that they have with your publicly shared agent. And eventually, what we're going to do is release an automation where you'll actually be able to interact with these conversations as well. So collecting data from it and whatnot. But yeah, so I mean, I'll give you a quick overview of it. If I open this, oops, where is it? Here we go. Let's say I open this and I try to, oops, sometimes run into this because I have a different account. So it sometimes gives me that error. But let's go here, AI agents. I am going to open this. The client intake. We're going to open this over here. And I'm going to open a new tab and go to this client intake agent over here. So let's say I say, create a draft email. Hello. And I press enter. So it does that for me. If I go over here, you'll see basically someone shows hello. So that way you can actually see how people are interacting with it. And eventually the next automation step will be that we'll be able to actually take this data and then you can kind of do your own analysis and stuff on it. So for example, if you have an AI agent that is handling your customer support or any sort of technical knowledge, what you can do is take the transcripts and data from these conversations and then afterwards summarize it and see what issues people are running into. So let's see right here. Is the update automatic or do we have to update something? It's automatic. So you just refresh your page and then you should see it on your end. And then, yeah, so let's go into the next update. So the next update is also having to do with agents. This was actually a common request. And what people wanted was sometimes they didn't want the agents to actually search online or scrape a web page or any of that stuff. So you can actually fine tune these. So you can turn it off, turn it on whenever you want. Like you can disable these if you don't want it to do it. So yeah, like this is a big one. Taskade Actions, which was one of the more exciting releases we had last time. You can turn this off on as well. And that way, if you want your agent just to reference information that you've uploaded in Knowledge and not to actually go on its own and search a web page or anything like that, then you can disable these and then press update and you're ready to go. And the other thing that we've done is in your project, let's say, let's go to sales. Actually, I'm just going to create a project with AI. I'm going to say create a checklist for hosting a live stream. And turn this off. So the one thing that we've done is I'm going to create this project. If you use TaskadeAI now in the slash commands, so for example, if I do subtask, this runs in the background now. So if you're using slash commands in your projects for your agents, then what you can do is you can literally go away, go do something else. I can go to my workspace, go to marketing, follow up with sales, whatever it is, and then afterwards it runs in the background until it's completed, and then afterwards I can use it. So that's basically for AI assistant. We made it run in the background. That way you can focus on doing what you need to do, and we can handle the whole automation aspect of it. Now, the second thing, oh, okay. So that was pretty much smaller updates and smaller fine tuning as far as that portion goes. But the other thing that we have done is we've expanded a whole bunch of automation integrations with Google Workspace. So if I go to add automation, I could start from scratch. And we have recently added option to uh, a Google Calendar integration and a Google Drive integration as well. So this was a really common thing that people wanted and had been requesting for quite some time. So we recently added these. So for example, you can do a new or updated event in your Google Calendar. Oops, it's going to try to connect to my thing. But essentially you can have a new calendar. You would connect your calendars over here. And then afterwards you can use that to create tasks, create a project, depending on whatever it is. And we actually have even more actions for Google related tasks as well. So for example, for Google Sheets, we've expanded it to have update row, and we're adding more functionality regarding that. We've also added the option for you to do Google Docs. So this is a really common use case where, let's say you created a blog article in Taskade and you wanted it to go into Google Docs. You can now do create document and take that information and create it, and also like create new file in a Google Drive, like move it, search it, whatever you need to, really. So we've really expanded some of these Google Workspace integrations. So now you can even essentially, let's say you have a new form submission. So if I have a new response on a Google form, I could have it create a document with like my client's information, whatever I need, and then I can even plug in AI agents in here, name the folders, whatever I need, and yeah, like it kind of speeds up that whole workspace setup for clients and stuff too. So we're just trying to play nice with a lot more tools. And then the cool thing is that if you have all this, what you can do is you can actually share it with other people. So now if you have an automation template, what you can do is create a shareable link. And then if I share this with someone, well, I didn't save it, so my bad. Let me go back here. I'm gonna save changes. Oops. And delete that. Okay. Share. If I open the shareable link, this is what someone will see. So essentially, you can now create these automation templates and then you can clone them. So if I do clone, I can choose which workspace I want to add it to. And then from there, it'll automatically add this information. And all I have to do is just tweak it to whatever I need it to whatever I need to do with it. So yeah, that shareable automation thing is probably one of the best features that I've come across for now. I know we're working on a bunch more. So yeah, this is essentially like I'll give you one quick example of how I'm gonna use this. So if someone asks me a question of like, well, how do I do this? How do I set this up? What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create the flow for them, and then afterwards I'm just going to share that to with them, and then they'll just be able to just go in and change a few of the things that they need to change. So, for example, this is a really common one. People always go like, "I need how do you use AI to handle your emails, right?" And all I need to do is I can even ask AI or ask an agent. So let's say I have my email writer over here. What I can do is email body, and then I can ask the agent to take that email, draft the response, and then from here, what I'll do is I'll say, you know what, create a draft email, and we're gonna do to the sender's email, and then ask agent result, and reply to is, I mean, that's an optional field, but anyway, kind of get the point. If I save changes here, I can share this. Well, I'm gonna rename this. Generate responses to new emails on Gmail. Now, if I share this, create a shareable link, you can share this with other people and also you can embed it. So, for example, if you wanted to close that, if you wanted to embed it, you can actually embed it and it will just be a preview of what people can get. So, you can technically set up these complex workflows similar to other automation platforms. You can set up these complex workflows and templates and then you could gatekeep them. So, pay wallet, however you want to sell these templates, you can go for it. And you can even do like an automation and agent pack, right? So you can go here. If I go to AI agents, since I can share this agent as well, and I can choose to copy the knowledge with it, what I can do is I can literally include this link. And then afterwards from here, I'm going to change this to chat and template. I can open this. So you can have these templates where essentially you can add the agents and then you can have this automation template that might use more of this agent commands and stuff. And then from there, you can just implement it, share it as a pack, or sell it as a pack, and people will be able to use it for their automation platforms, for their automations. And that was pretty much the main overview as far as like the updates for product side. The other thing that we've done is we have really expanded our APIs. So if you go to developers.taskade.com, so for example, taskade.com, I'm going to put it in the chat right here. If you go here, you'll see a whole bunch of newer endpoints that we've added, and you'll be able to actually interact with pretty much the platform in almost any possible way that you do so already. So if you have some of those, if you're more technical, you're more tech savvy, you can use these endpoints to essentially create an even deeper integration with Taskade and your app. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. I think I can probably just open it up for Q&A at this point, and then we can just kind of dive into more specific use cases. So I'm gonna just stop sharing. If anyone has any questions, let me know. But yeah, um, actually, I will highlight one use case with Google Drive specifically. If you have meetings, so if you're getting like you have meetings, you have one of those AI note takers. Essentially, what you can do is whenever they upload a new file. So if they upload a new file to a specific folder, you can then create a project with that information, and also like you can find document. So I can find the document within there, and then afterwards take that information and essentially add it to a project, and then add that project. So I can do create project, and then afterwards I can also just add knowledge to the agent as well. So I know some people that what they do is when they have a meeting, they have a transcription, they want to convert that to a Taskade project, and then afterwards they essentially give that project to an AI agent and then ask the AI agent questions about what was this meeting about, give me a summary, give me a follow up, and they just have one agent that essentially handles all of their meeting data and stuff. And yeah, so I'm gonna stop sharing here, and now I'm gonna start addressing some of these questions. Okay, cool. Let's see. I'm going back up. Okay, awesome first update. Thank you, Jay. Definitely not the last one. What is the maximum size for an AI agent's response? Number of characters. So this one varies because the way AI agents work is they are taking there's a context window, and whenever you give it a prompt, that prompt is also taking up space in your context window. So, for example, if your AI agent takes that information, excuse me, if that AI agent essentially you send it a long prompt, it's going to be more limited in the response that it gives back because it's just there's just a limit to how much it can process. but you can always tell it to expand more and it will do it. So it's around 128,000 tokens. But yeah, um, I wish I was more technical so I could answer that more effectively. I actually, now that I think about it, I'm not too sure how we handled that portion. I haven't run into a situation where I've run out of context window in a response. So I think we might use some other techniques to handle that as well. What's up, everyone? Welcome, welcome, Mark. In house. Let's go. Got it. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Is there a way to ask an agent to use JSON for a response? I'm trying, but not so easy to get responses. Always respecting directives. Um, this is it's so kind of yes, but also kind of no. Sometimes it depends on the prompt as well. So if you're giving it a vague prompt, it sometimes doesn't do as well. But I think we're working on structured output. So we do have where it can process it. Well, again, this use case depends. Where are you trying to use the agent? Are you just trying to use it as like in an automation, or are you trying to use it in essentially like a chat environment? Chat environment is a little bit harder, but I'm curious as to whether. Do me a favor. Let's do this. Uh, Post a message here, taskade.com/feedback. So post a message here, and we'll basically look into what you're trying to do with your use case and stuff. And then from there, we can like discuss more of like, okay, here are some of the challenges or whatever it is. So yeah, that's so dope. I agree. I also think it's very dope. This is gonna. I'm on like the customer support and community side of stuff too. A lot of people know me from there too. So on my end, I'm just kind of like I can already see the value of me actually just making these automation templates and just sending them a link and saying, here you go. And this is how I would set it up. This is how I would do the branching and just handling all that workflow just from one URL as opposed to multiple emails back and forth. So nice. Same. Are there going to be automation with other social media soon? Uh, we're not opposed to it. We're actually looking into a few integrations right now. Slack, Teams, Discord, and a few others. So we're always working on improving the product. And so it's like if you guys have any specific ones that you want, let us know. Um, and yeah, as far as social medias, which ones would you want to see? I know a lot of right now we're text based. So having a social media platform like TikTok and YouTube might be a bit more challenging from the UI and UX perspective. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see which ones you guys want us to work on. Let's see. If a project template contains blocks, we can't select blocks and automations for a project created based on this template. Would it be possible to be able to do so? Okay, I think what you're trying to do is essentially you have, let's say you have a project template where it's like pipeline for a client, right? And essentially what you're trying to do is, let me see. Okay. Oops. Let me do this. Share screen, window, workspace. I think what you're trying to do is essentially, let's say I have a template. Go back here. Um, let's go to templates. Okay. Let's say I have this task template, right? All right, cool. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. So I have this task template. What you're essentially trying to do, if I understood you correctly, you're trying to do, let's say something happens, I don't know, event is scheduled. Let's say you book the call, and once the first consultation is booked, you want to create a project from a template. But what you want to do is you want to take, like, let's say the invitee's name, and then from there, you want to add tasks to that specific project template, right? So it doesn't bring the blocks. What you're trying to do is you want to map to those specific blocks. Did I understand you correctly? If that's what you're looking for, it's not doable currently, but that does make sense. I think it's the use case that it's similar to whenever you map information in a Google Doc. So being able to say, okay, this field is this, or I want you to add this information to this one. So yeah, I think this is something that is kind of it's a difficult problem for us to solve because of just how the automation works. Because there are some things to it, but I think considering, yeah, exactly. Okay, so yes, that's exactly what you were trying to do. Yeah, I know where you're going with this. I've seen this before. I've talked about this too. It's a it's an interesting use case, and we are working on some really complex stuff now. So I want to bring it up again with the team and see if we can actually do that. So yeah, let's see. I'm gonna go back up here. Sorry, I'm like scrolling on the side with the chat, so that's why I'm like sometimes you guys add new comments and it's like harder for me to see. But yeah, yes, my previous question. Did I answer your previous question? I don't see your previous question, Jesus. Or sorry if I mispronounced your name. But yeah, let me know if you resend it in the chat. I'm more than happy to respond to it. Okay. Hey Narek, I found a way to use Notion pages for AI knowledge. However, when adding multiple docs, they all appear as a Notion dash truncated with no way to. Okay. When adding multiple docs, they all appear as Notion dash truncated title with no way to edit or identify them easily. Could we customize the titles or have AI generate contextual ones? Um, the main thing here would be instead of using Notion, it seems like the better alternative would be for us to support the features and such that you won't need to handle it in Notion and instead you can port it over into Taskade. So I'm curious as to what is holding you back from moving from, well, centralizing everything into Taskade as opposed to having two separate subscriptions, two separate documentations, two separate platforms to use. So I I think what I would say is I want to eliminate your entire need to even use Notion and instead centralize everything into Taskade, which is a much more powerful platform in regards to AI and a few other things too. Obviously, I'm a little biased with that, but yeah. Um, let's see. I think I would also have to see your setup too. Um, how are you adding it to Taskade? So I would need to. There's a lot more questions I have there. How are you adding it to Taskade? Are you just importing it? Like, there's I have a few questions. So if you could give me a few more details regarding that, I'd be more than happy to respond to it. Let's see. You can force JSON through the ask agent automation action, can't you, by selecting the output as JSON object and defining the fields? Yep. So that's you. I mean, you beat me to it. So going back to Christoph's or Chris's previous statement, you can essentially have ask agent, and then for output, you can have it provide a structured output over here. So you can have nested fields, you can have it detail specific information and such. So and then, but yeah, to add on to it, yeah, JSON structure of. So essentially, what you're trying to do is you're trying to take data, structure it, and have the agent structure it into a JSON schema, and then from there process it properly. If I understood correctly, yeah. And then this is to kind of go back to the create project from template. Yes, because I'd like my agent to select blocks to create tasks per block. Yeah, it's essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to like almost automate the onboarding or project creation process. So in this case, what you would be doing is like you have a new event or something happens in a Google Calendar, you automatically create a project specifically for that, right? So like you have your processes, you want to create it, it just involves different data, but the workflow itself is static. So from here, you would want to map it to things. And then afterwards, add specific tasks. You can add branches and all that stuff too. I totally get you and I totally hear you on that. So yeah, definitely send whatever feedback you guys have here. The more details you give, the better it is. We are really receptive and we do implement a lot of the features that you guys talked about. Um, I'm just like, I'm barely scratching the surface on like a lot of the stuff that we have planned to, but I'm also trying not to give away too much as well. But yeah, if there's like end to end use cases that you want to do in Taskade, and let's say you have a gap or you're not sure how to proceed with it or another thing like that, you can always just like send it in any of these or any of our communities. So let me do taskade.com/community. You can send it here as well. And let's see. So yeah, you can always send it over to these areas. We're on Reddit, Discord, Facebook, Telegram, LinkedIn. Actually, no, we don't have a LinkedIn community. We're on LinkedIn a lot though. Uh, X. Could have sworn there's like I've lost track at this point, guys. I said Discord, I think. So I don't know. Anyway, we're everywhere. And then yeah. Oh, I got another question. Let's see. I publish the Notion page, then add it to agent's knowledge as a link. If I do multiple, they both have the same title. Issue occurs with any link, I think. We just need the ability to edit the names. Okay, so it almost sounds like you want to add a variable to the link title as you're adding it to knowledge, if I got that correctly. So let's say if you're here and you want to add to agent knowledge and client intake, if I add a website link, you basically want to have the URL, but you also kind of want to rename it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I think certain things we could definitely improve on too. We're always open to feedback. It's like we try to do our best. But yeah, in this case, I guess what you want to do is you just want to be able to rename the link somehow. So, or using some sort of, how should I say it? Kind of like essentially being able to have a naming structure to it. But yeah, let's see this. Could you try editing the name of some knowledge you have on an agent? You'll see what I mean. Sure thing. Let's run through that. I'm curious too. Let's have, you know what? We'll do the email writer and we're actually going to go to edit agent, knowledge. I'm going to add a link to taskade.com, add to knowledge. You basically want to be able to rename this from here, or if I understood correctly, also just being able to rename this. Yep. So let's go to AI agents. Essentially, what you're trying to do is you want to be able to rename some of the information within your agent's knowledge base. So if I do edit agent knowledge, oh, I chose a different one last time. But anyway, we can just do taskade.com, add to knowledge, and then essentially you want to be able to rename your knowledge source here. But yeah, also there was a slight UI change that we actually made here. Before the way it was, so we're trying to focus more on like some of the UI adjustments and stuff. You can actually do full screen now. So before it was like modal would pop up, and then if I try to edit it, now it's just drop down from here, and then now I can just actually press full screen, and that way it kind of hides everything real nice, and I can just chat with it. So just a subtle change. But yeah, let's see. Yes, if you add a different link from Taskade, I think it would have the same exact title. Another solution would be able to use AI to summarize the content as a title. Yeah, I mean, basically what you want to do is you want to expose the title here. So what you're trying to say is like, okay, um, as an optional field. Oops, let me close some of these tabs. I'm like, I have this tab issue, man. Essentially, what you're trying to do is, let's say something happens, new video, add to knowledge, right, or something like that. Add knowledge to agent. What you want to do is you want to name the knowledge type, basically. So you want to title it. I think that shouldn't be too hard, but no promises because I'm not an engineer. Can a public user add to the knowledge of the agent themselves? No, unless they clone it. So essentially, well, actually, let me ask this: what do you mean by public user? Are you referring to? I'm assuming you're referring to if I have. I'm gonna go okay, close this. You're saying if I have an AI agent, it was this one that I shared. Yeah, you're saying if I have an AI agent like this, if someone basically tries to chat with this, can they add and train the knowledge right here? And no, unless they clone it and add it to their own workspace. So yeah, no. Now, this is interesting. I want to create an agent that can read payment processing statements, review it, and notice any hidden fees. Okay. Payment processing statements. How are you processing it? What kind of file type is it? Is it like a PDF with text on it? Or is it like a CSV? I mean, it's an interesting use case because if it's a PDF, then we might be able to process this through forms actually. So we call it forms, but it's more like apps at this point. So I could do automation, add automation. I'm gonna go to AI forms. I'm gonna start from scratch. And actually, you know what? I'm not gonna start from scratch. There's templates for a reason. We are going to use templates for that reason. Use automation. So we have a form trigger, data extraction from PDFs. Basically, they'll upload the PDF over here. You'll say the data points that you're looking for, and then we can make these required as well. And then we're going to convert that file to text using the data from the PDF. And then we can specify what it is. And yeah, we can say the content or whatever we need. And then from here, we can choose whatever outputs we want. Now, if I do save changes and I do share, I can essentially upload a PDF, add the data points that I want, and then extract the data from there. And as with most of the stuff in Taskade, you can publish this. So publish this form, and yeah, I can always just do view site. So now you have this simple form, and it's more of an app at this point, like a mini app, and you can just upload the file here and then extract the information, and it will generate the outputs and stuff for you. So yeah, a colleague that isn't technical but wants to use it, and I want them to be able to add the output back into their knowledge. Ah, okay, I see. This sounds like a interesting use case. I'd want to know a bit more about that. So if you can kind of document your process or your end-to-end workflow and send it to, again, I'm gonna go back here, put it here, taskade.com/feedback. So definitely here, taskade.com/feedback. Share that process there, and then afterwards from there, we'll kind of identify any missing gaps and try to get a better understanding with your use case. PDF with text. Yeah, so I think if you just as long as you train the AI agent into understanding what it needs to process, I think your workflow can actually happen. In this case, what I would probably do is just go to manage, you set up a form trigger, you choose the PDF, so for a file field, and then afterwards you choose a long text and you basically add whatever other steps you want. And then you do convert file to text. And then once you convert file to text, what you're going to do is you're just going to add the PDF from the form trigger from before. So the PDF from the form field, which is the file that they upload. And then afterwards from there, you can generate with AI or you can run an agent command, right? So you can say, you know what, agent, search through this, or if you have a specific prompt that you're just going to reuse, just run that command instead. And then afterwards, you can add additional steps and you can even have it generate with an AI result. Yep. Feedback on automations posted compared to task creation. Perfect. Thank you so much for doing that. We will get a response to you soon. And by we, it's I will probably be the one responding to you as well. So yeah, I think we're pretty much done with the questions at this point. If anyone has any other questions or use cases, let me know. I'll kick it for like another couple minutes. Um, but yeah, let's see. You guys are amazing at Taskade. Quick question: do you plan to keep going for the next 20 years? Uh, the idea is that eventually we'll replace me with an AI agent, and the live streams will just be done through an AI. I'm totally kidding. Um, but yeah, like I think Taskade is going to be around for the long run. Our main goal is like we're just trying to make it super simple for people to use AI and collaborate with either humans or AI or both in one single space. So if you're trying to you can move so much faster with just using AI agents. It's absolutely insane. It's like a hack that a lot of people don't know about. Um, yeah, lol. Yeah, definitely. Glad you found that funny. No, we keep Narek. Yeah, right. We'll just Narek AI. But yeah, so the main idea is essentially Tascade allows you to really build a lot of these complex automations and stuff. And ChatGPT recently mentioned that they increased their subscription price to like from 20 to $200 a month. So it's like you can do so much with this, and it's like, no, let's see. I just got a response here. Key difference between Tascade and Zapier. I think with Tascade, you can create AI agents and then plug them into your automations, and you can train them on your company knowledge and use it for tasks and everything in a way that Zapier is trying to work on, but it's not as effective because Zapier started as an automation platform and then now is trying to work backwards into project management. Whereas we started off as project management and now we've kind of built we were a collaboration tool from the ground up, and now we're building automations and other aspects into it. So one main difference is let's go here. I'll show you a difference. So creating a project with AI, if you wanted to generate a checklist on the fly, you can upload files real quick, add your links to it, whatever you need. So create a go-to-market strategy for Taskade. And I can just add a link right here. We'll call it taskade.com, add that to knowledge, and then boom. So it's going to generate this information for me. Try to do this with Zapier. It's going to take you quite some time. You'll have to set up an agent. You have to set up a whole bunch of other stuff like that. Like they don't really have a lot of out of box solutions like this, and ones that you can tailor for your workflow as well. So let's create a project here. Now you can have your projects. These are extensible. You can add other people to it. You can collaborate with them, and then if you need to, let's say I have a go to market strategy here. I can have an AI agent reference that information in the project. So if anything changes here, it's automatically updated with my AI agent as well. Then now I can train my AI agents, and those are kind of like extensions of your team. let's say I have one that generates emails for everyone. I can have this then plugged into automations really quickly. So if I have I mean, I can show you one of the automations I had from before. So I can ask my agent, my email writer, and it's trained on my company data, has all that access. And if I ever need to change anything, company's brand guidelines changed or whatever it is, I can just change that up real quick and it's synced up with all my agents and I don't have to go back and retrain them or any of that stuff. So that's kind of like the gist of it. Two more of these live sessions and I'll be able to cover you if you need to take it. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I mean, like, I hope you guys find these live sessions or live streams helpful. I know a lot of people. I've been receiving a lot of positive feedback from it. Some people just kind of go through them and just literally will like. I've had so much positive reception to it, so I'm always happy to do these. If you guys have any specific use cases that you want to see, definitely send it my way. Um, it's just narek@taskade.com. And yeah, like you guys could also just post it in community. We have a lot of people that are like open to actually helping out on a lot of these things. So we have some community experts. I've learned things from experts and like I thought I was a power user. Nah, there's some people that will teach me things about Taskade that I didn't even I was like, I don't, how do you even think of that? But yeah, like there's a lot of cool stuff that people are building with Taskade. Thank you so much. Of course. And then let's see, can we connect the Clover API to Taskade to input payment forms? Um, Based on your use case, I think what you're trying to do would probably happen through a webhook. So if I go back here, I think what you would want to do is you would have a webhook here and you would essentially parse. The only thing is I'm not too sure whether we can convert a file to text in this case. Okay, yeah, we actually we might be able to. So what we can do is so the way I would do it is essentially I haven't tried this, so I cannot give any guarantees with it. But essentially, what I would try to do is you have a JSON object. So you have a payload from a webhook, such as a Clover API. You can have it where you remember that previous form that we had. And close this. Let's go to automations. Uh, where did it go? Yes, it was this one. Okay, so in this previous thing, what we can do is we can actually add a send HTTP request. So we can send an HTTP request to this Taskade URL over here. I mean, we can even just avoid that entire process too, now that I think about it. Let's see. I need to think about this a bit more now that I think about it. Can we connect the Clover API to Taskade to input payment forms? Yeah, yeah. You would just avoid. Yeah. Okay. So what you would do is you would have a webhook. It would provide you with a URL. If it provides you with a form, it's going to be a bit. If it provides you with the file itself, it might be difficult, but you can add that URL to media. So, for example, if I have the webhook and I'm just going to call this like let's call it text, and then we'll say form. You'll take the form URL from here, convert that into media, and then afterwards from here, you'll convert this file to text. And then you can run through that whole process of having your AI agent process that information directly. And all you would have to do is when there's a new payment on Clover, it would send this information through an incoming webhook. I mean, through an outgoing webhook to Taskade's incoming webhook over here. So it's pretty technical, but you should be able to do it. If you can't, let me know. We will look into that use case. Very helpful. I'm so glad that it is very helpful. Gives me that's good positive feedback for me. But yeah, that's pretty much all the stuff that I had. Those were all the questions. Um, yeah, let me know if you guys have anything specific you want to see, and I'm gonna log out. But yeah, until next week, we shall reconvene and discuss more. All right. All right, you guys. Have a great weekend, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your time off. Bye.